My name is Crystal, and this is where I talk about books and the pages in them. And today is Monday Mentions, so we're going to talk about Animal Farm by George Orwell. I did just mention this in a video for my book haul for March, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it on a video on its own separately because I had such a great reading experience with this. I had never read it before. I did give it 4 stars just because there are some things in the book that really bothered me that I wish were kind of fleshed out more, but I understand why George Orwell didn't flesh them out. It would have been great if it had been a longer book, just because there was so much information in the 95 pages of this book that could have been explained better, but I do understand why it was like so short and not fleshed out as much. This is basically a manifesto of what happened in short form during the excuse me, the Russian Revolution. It follows a pig named Napoleon and a pig named Snowball and a farmer named Jones, and they basically make their own farm. They chase all the humans out, and at first they're all like it's gonna be better than the farm, and it literally is Napoleon sitting there telling people that what they knew and what they remembered was not they were crazy. He was gaslighting them the entire time into believing that they were doing something good for themselves and they were free now, when really they were still in chains and they weren't free. They were chained to the notion that the revolution would work, but it did. It did work for the eventual leaders of the group, but for the animals, they were still chained to their old ties, but they were working harder and for less food than before. And even though that was happening, they were made to believe it was better than how it was when humans were on the farm. And it's very reminiscent of Stalin, and actually that's in the beginning of the book. It tells you who all the characters are basically, and Napoleon is actually Stalin from Russia, from the Bolshevik Revolution times, and Snowball was actually Lenin, and Jones was Leo Trotsky, or even the Tsars of Russia and that type of thing. And there is a lot of reminiscent stuff in here of how fascism actually works, and I do recommend this book. This was a really great book. I've heard so many people say, I can't believe you've never read it till now, but in my high school we actually chose 1984 over Animal Farm because at the time there were things going on that were reminiscent of goings on in 1984, and my social studies teacher wanted us to do a project with 1984 to say how we would feel if it came out that Big Brother was watching us and just government, that sort of thing. So we chose our teachers chose 1984 for us over Animal Farm, and I wish we had been made to read both because honestly it would have been good to put on our unit for the Russian Revolution, which we read other books on that, but this one was more reminiscent for that, I think, than the other books we were meant to read. So with that, I will see you next time, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye!